things. But just a quick anecdote on that. If you're doing resistance training, you don't want to jump in a cold tub or ice bath right after that. You want to wait at least 5 hours, or you won't get the beneficial hormesis from the actual workout, although it will lower inflammation.
So where do you do your own ice bath, or you do it somewhere else? Are there people that actually have those available?
Yeah, so I've got access to a place that's opening soon in downtown St. Pete called the Biohack Studios, which is an amazing space. They're not quite open yet, and they've got a commercial cold tub there. But what lots and lots of people are doing, and this is starting to really become a trend, is they get a top-loading freezer, and you can get one from Home Depot or Lowe's for somewhere around $599. There's a thermostat you can buy for $37 on Amazon that you put into that top-loading freezer. You caulk everything and make sure there's no leaks, but then you set it at a temperature, and it'll turn on and off and keep the water at that temperature. You can also throw a couple of little $70 ozone generators in it that'll keep it clean so that you only have to change the water like once every 6 months or so. And then you have your own ice bath that will stay at whatever temperature you want, whether it's 33 degrees, 35 degrees, 45 degrees, whatever. And lots of people are doing that.
Wow, that is crazy. I personally, cold water for me is like, so it takes somebody to jump into something like that, doesn't it? In the morning or whenever, right?
Well, it just, so once I'm the perfect example of somebody that would hate cold. Like when I was first told about that, I was like, you got to be kidding me. I'm not jumping in freezing water. That's crazy. Or you hear about people doing the polar bear plunge or whatever. But one thing to add to that is if you do the Wim Hof breathing, his breath work specifically, which just involves inhales, then exhaling and hold your breath, and then inhaling, holding 15 seconds. If you do 3 rounds of that or even 1 round, it literally cuts off 66% of your pain receptors. So if you imagine going into an ice bath after doing that, you're only 1/3 of your pain receptors are working, so it's going to be much less unpleasant after doing the breath work than without it.
And how do people have access to the Wim Hof breathing?
If you go to, there's an app for Vim is spelled W-I-M, but Wim, so if you say it phonetically, Wim Hof method, there's an app for that, which has free breathing, guided breathing on it, which is a really easy way to do it. You can go to the Wim Hof method website, and there's tons of information there. Other good breath work is, by Breathology. There's all kind of pranayama from yoga, which is even what Wim does is fashioned after stuff that's been around for thousands of years.
Woo! And now I understand you were going to be starting with the new company that you're going to be working with. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. You guys had mentioned quantum physics earlier. I'm a huge proponent of all kind of things for quantum health. And Ness Health or neshealth.com, I had met the owner, Harry Massey, at Dave Asprey's Bulletproof Biohacking Conference. He's the guy that coined the term biohacking. And that was in 2015, where he was with Gerald Pollack, the master now who wrote The Fourth Phase of Water, all about structured water. And I met him there. Then time goes by. I didn't come across him again until 2.5 years ago at a local training he did for practitioners where, Patty, I ran into you there in Clearwater.
And what did you find interesting about Ness Health?
So I totally did not understand at all how it did what it did, but I was absolutely amazed at how it maps the entire, over 6,000 points of the body field. And Peter Fraser, who has since passed, he really was the expert with that. And Harry was forced to make this guy's acquaintance and work on this stuff because he was bedridden for 7 years with what Western medicine called chronic fatigue, but couldn't do anything to help him get out of bed. So I was amazed at the scan that it does of your total body field and everything that's going on with it, not just organs and everything else, but your life journey, everything, emotional health, nutritional deficiencies, or the resonance of those nutrients, on and on and on. And that scans like 10, 12 seconds, and then it maps everything out. And what that company does to address those blockages in energy or the lack of resonance in the body field is they have infoceuticals, which is made up of structured water, and the frequency of whatever that item is in perfect resonance that Peter Fraser mapped out like 6,000 of. So you take that infoceutical, that's in perfect resonance and reminds your cells of that perfect resonance. And just like a tuning fork, they take on that resonance, puts you back in alignment, so to speak, so your body can heal itself. So you take the infoceuticals, or you use their My Health device to do some, that has frequencies as well, and some on-body things you can do. That it's very small item that you can maneuver very, very easily. But you do that for the course of 2-3 weeks, and then scan again, and miraculously, the items that showed is really, really harsh as far as the recommendations will more than likely, with very, very high percentage of people, will have changed to not be bad anymore and move you on to the next thing to help you with your health. And you feel the difference as you go through it. It's not a placebo effect, although in the quantum world and through quantum physics and with Nest Health, they will tell you that your intention while you're doing all this is really, really important as well, in addition to just the infoceuticals and the My Health device. So I was a client. I've been using the Nest Health device. There had been a lot of turnover at the company in a positive way, and so I reached out because the people that I knew there were no longer there. I ended up meeting the new head of marketing, Tom Klossing, who came over from Ricola. He was like the 5th hire there, and the new CEO, Dean Akers. And after I see what they're doing now and the direction they're heading in, I'd gone from wanting to just kind of refer them to other people because of the success and interest I had, to actually accepting a job with them, full on. So I'm really excited to get started with them next Monday and, share their technology with the world, in addition to the other biohacking tools that I use, practice, and hopefully will be an example of, which is my ultimate goal. I'm starting to feel that mortality at 52 years old. And my ultimate goal is to help other people have energy for life, vitality, and not be that person that works out a lot and eats healthy but drops dead anyway, because there's so many other factors that come into play, like the epigenetics that you guys talk about all the time, I'm sure. So I'd rather be that shining beacon as an example of health, rather than somebody that does some stuff and then people point their finger at him and go, oh, I might as well not even bother. Look what happened to him.
Well, and you certainly see that with in the world that with all the athletes that you work with, and the work that you've been doing on yourself. I think one thing that, and unfortunately we're running out of time shortly, but I'd like you to just speak to the word intention, because obviously somebody coming out of a near-death experience and being bedridden, unable to use your arms, you had to create an intention. Say some more about that, and how people can take that on for themselves. What does that look like, and how does that benefit them?
So for me at the time, and the how I was physically with fixators in my arms, not being able to move them, radial nerve damage, losing 30 pounds from my current weight, which looked really grotesque. I had this vision of what if I stay like this? What would my life look like if I was like this? And then I had the other vision of what would my life look like if I recovered as optimally as possible. And that's the other side just completely I put away, and I had the intention that I'm getting back to as close to normal as possible, as fast as possible. And that's all I focused on. I was obsessive about it. But I realized, and it wasn't until much later that I realized that we do create our future by being grateful for let's put it this, I don't know if this will make sense, but being grateful for what's going to happen before it happens. If we do that, then that will happen. And
that is so perfect, Stephen. And unfortunately we've run out of time, but that ending on that gratitude note is I think the key for everyone. And how can you tell how people can get a hold of you if they have any questions of what you've shared with us today?
The best way would be to email me at superconnector, that's SUPERKONNECTOR @gmail.com. So it's superconnector SK for my initials, Stephen Klein. Or they can find me on Facebook /superconnector, fb.com/superconnector, or Instagram at superconnector as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing yourself with us. We really appreciate it.
Had a lot of fun. Thanks a lot, Patty. I appreciate it.
Great. Thanks for tuning into our show on societybitesradio.com. Don't worry, if you've missed a show, you can find them all on our website at SarasotaHolisticChamberofCommerce.com.